Hey guys, Magnus Roberta here, bringing you another video. This one will be on the original leader of Alexandria, Deanna Monroe, another deceased Walking Dead character. So I have seen the premiere of Season 9, and I won't tell you who, in case you haven't watched it, but there are some character deaths in there anyway, so I will get round to those characters in question, but I'm trying to go through some ones I've got planned. So this is Deanna Monroe, the mother to Aiden and Spencer, husband to Reg, and former Ohio Congresswoman. She is of course female. She is played by Tova Feldscher and is in her late 50s and first appeared in Remember. Before the outbreak, she was a congresswoman in Ohio and lived with her husband and 2 children. She was re-elected twice to Congress and was in DC when the outbreak began. She and her family were trying to get back to Ohio when the zombies came, but the army stopped them, bringing them to Alexandria. Here she set up camp, going to a shopping mall, and began building walls. The community grew larger and larger, and she became the leader of this community. She eventually had to exile 2 men and 1 woman, accepting she was basically killing them. And then Rick's group turned up. In Season 5, Deanna interviews Rick, Michonne, Glenn, Carol, Daryl, and Carl, and presumably the rest of the group. She allows the group to stay. She gives everyone a job. Michonne and Rick are officers, Sasha on guard duty, and Abraham as a part of the construction crew. She prepares for her party and then has it. Introducing Reg and Sasha goes a bit mental, and eventually she allows Sasha to go on guard duty. Tobin asks Deanna to make Abe the head of construction crew after that stuff happens with him. She makes Maggie her assistant and listens to Gabriel badmouth Rick's group. Deanna is informed about Aiden's death, saddening her. She burns the note the group left her and presumably doesn't eat that casserole. Rick tells her about Pete and his abusive tendencies, but she knew and she wanted to keep Pete as the doctor and didn't really care too much about Pete beating poor old Jesse and her children. She then breaks up the fight between Rick and Pete and informs, or at least alludes, that Rick will possibly be kicked out. Maggie begs Deanna that Rick is a good man, so Deanna decided to have a vote. She sets up a meeting to discuss what to do about Rick when Rick throws a dead walker and says he's going to help them survive. Then Pete appears with Michonne's sword, accidentally slitting Reg's throat, and Deanna allows Rick to kill Pete. In Season 6, Deanna stays with a dead Reg. Deanna tells Rick to bury Pete outside the walls. Rick explains the plan and she tells everyone to trust Rick. Deanna watches as the wolf arrive, burning Richards. Deanna finds Spencer and stays in the truck with him in safety. Deanna watches Rick return. Deanna is proud when Spencer calms down the Alexandrians, and she maps out her plans for the future. But then she finds out from a drunk Spencer that he stole all the supplies, and Spencer blames Deanna for the deaths of his brother and his father. She later finds a zombie wolf and goes apeshit on it.
Come on, you son of a bitch.
Rick finds her, killing the zombie, and she declares him the new leader. Deanna bangs on the gates of Alexandria in resistance to the zombies. Deanna thanks Rick for saving Spencer and watches in horror as the watchtower falls, bringing down the wall and letting the walkers in. Deanna shoots at walkers, helping Rick, falling over and being bitten by a walker in the process, and cut with a gear. Rick carries Deanna to safety, being saved by Jesse and seeking shelter in her house. Michonne and Rick tend to her injuries when they discover the bite. Deanna tells Michonne to seek what she wants. She sees Judith one last time, Rick nearly accidentally killing her, and she tells Rick that all of Alexandria are his people, and gives him a note for both Maggie and Spencer. When the herd breaks in and the others need to leave, Deanna decides to stay behind and end her own life herself, but eventually decides to go out with a little more dignity. Deanna turns and goes to the woods for some weird reason. I don't know why a zombie did that, it just didn't really make much sense, but whatever. Carl and Enid find a walker. Deanna and Carl directs her walker to Spencer, who then puts her down, and eventually they bury her. Deanna was a cool minor character, and I enjoyed her struggle to be a good leader, with knowing balancing how to keep her people safe, and also balancing rule and order. It would have been cooler to see more of her, but she kind of had to go out when she did. It was similar in the comics, and I did like the gender swap. I think the gender swap actually did work. I'm not usually a massive fan of when they gender swap characters, but this one actually worked quite well. So, and she was pretty cool while she lasted. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts on Deanna and what character you'd like to see next. Remember, they have to be a dead character so I can have their entire biography mapped out for you. And yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Goodbye.